Emmanuel Acho.
Hey!
Let me give you a proper introduction now. I mean, nobody cue me. I'm like, I don't know. Are we getting mic'd? Co-host of Speak with myself, Shady LaShawn McCoy, who was on with us earlier in studio, and Dave Hellman, New York Times best-selling author. They only have 2 of your books on here. Oof,
I know.
By the way.
Look, when you're a New York Times bestseller,
Uncomfortable Conversations with the Black Man, Uncomfortable Conversations with the Black Boy, and Illogical. Were they all New York Times bestsellers, or they just have the bestsellers on? Okay, so they have the bestsellers on there.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Is that shade?
No.
Okay, that's fine.
I mean, you wrote 3 books. So
yeah. And you did read them, Joy. So
just casually.
I'd say pump them
like
all
2.
up, always. Always.
Yes, I'm going to read your books. And played 4 NFL seasons, of course, in the NFL. Had a very nice college career as well. And has Chargers fans mad at
you too?
You don't have Cowboys fans mad at you, though. So at least you have that going for you.
Strategic. That's the thing. The Chargers fan base is not nearly as loud or rambunctious as a Cowboys fan base, so I can handle that one.
I don't know.
However,
I don't.
Good luck.
I mean, I don't pay attention. Good luck. I have stuff to do. What am I going to do? Sit around and argue with Cowboys fans all day long? What am I going to say? What?
Win playoff games.
There you go, Alex.
Yeah.
That's what I should just respond to all of them. And my mom, like I said, my mom's a Cowboys fan, so I doesn't this is all very normal for me.
Yes, you grew up in this. You were born into this.
I was. Emmanuel Acho here in studio with us, Joy Taylor and Alex Curry in for Colin Cowherd on the Herd. So there's a lot going on right now. I don't know where I want to start with you. Actually, should I? You heard the Derek Carr news?
Crazy.
Okay, so let's start there.
Crazy.
Because that's the very latest in a day that has quite a bit of news going on. What do you think? What's your reaction?
Can I unload, please?
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Josh McDaniels, this is a terrible decision, and shame on him. Derek Carr is likely the best thing that's happened to Josh McDaniels as a head coach, and you have the audacity to bench maybe the best thing that's happened to you as a head coach. Let's talk about who Derek Carr is. Derek Carr has had 6 head coaches in his 9 years in the league. Dennis Allen, Tony Sperano, John Gruden, Del Rio, Bisaccia, and now McDaniels. Derek Carr has had MVP votes. Derek Carr is a 3-time Pro Bowler. Derek Carr, the last 4 seasons, averages a 68% completion percentage. Then you show up, Josh McDaniels, and it's down to 60%. See, Josh McDaniels without Derek Carr, we know, is bad. But Derek Carr without Josh McDaniels, we know, is good. If the job of the coach is to make the player better, then don't cause the player to be worse and then blame the player for getting worse and then bench the player. It's asinine. And worse than that, I hate when smaller coaches ruin greater players' legacies. I think about, I believe it was Ben McAdoo that benched Eli Manning. Eli Manning, maybe 254 consecutive starts.
The worst.
Eli was not that great at the time. I get it. I played against aging Eli. But there's something bigger at that moment in time than football. He has 250 consecutive starts. Just let him start because the backup, Geno Smith, wasn't good either. Personal experience. LaShawn McCoy grows up in Pennsylvania, plays for Pitt, drafted to the Eagles. Eagles all-time rushing leader in 6 years. And Chip Kelly has the audacity to trade him just for Chip to be gone 365 days later. Sometimes there are players that are more important than the coaches. And what Derek Carr has done for the Raiders is more important than what Josh McDaniels can do. Joy, you've talked about it ad nauseum. Derek Carr tolerated a head coach last year that was accused of and both caught being misogynistic, sexist, racist, anti-Semitic, and any other form of ist or ism or etic you can find. And Derek Carr weathered that storm. His former teammate and first-round pick was charged with literal murder, not figurative murder. He actually was charged with murder. Derek Carr weathered that storm and went to the playoffs. And less than a year later, you want to bench him? Somebody should bench McDaniels. Anyway, it's your show. I'm done.
Well,
You went off.
No, I'm glad. I've always been a Derek Carr person. I think you laid it out perfectly. He's had to overcome a lot more than people really want to give him credit for.
Everything.
Is Derek Carr great? I think he's good enough that I would safely say if he was in a functional situation, he would be great. So I don't like to give excuses for people because you're going to deal with stuff in the NFL. There's going to be injuries. There's going to be coaching changes. There's going to be ownership changes. You're going to have variation in teammates, the offensive line. Everybody deals with something. But man, can Derek Carr, you know what? God gives the most to his best soldiers.
I hope that's applicable for
but
now.
This also probably means he's not going to be there next year.
He can't be. You cannot bench a 9-year NFL vet and then just try to act like nothing happened. Like, all right, Derek, see you week 1 as
we
our
just want to
starter.
try out Stidham.
No, and keep in mind, although it is a long shot, the Raiders still have a chance to make the playoffs. A lot has to happen. Dolphins have to lose twice. Raiders have to beat, I believe, the Chiefs and the 49ers. A lot has to happen. But if you bench Derek Carr, the message that you are sending to him and the team, it's deafening. And also, McDaniels, you just got here. Like, how you going to show up to my house, then kick me out my own house? I'll unload more on Speak. I'm done for now.
Yes, Speak, 4:30 Eastern on FS1. Please come join us. I didn't ask the guys this in the back, so let me know if we have the Shannon Sharp clip. If not, I'll just read it. I don't know if you heard what Shannon said on Undisputed yesterday, but he had a little something to say about Russell Wilson and everything that's going on with the Broncos. Obviously, Nathaniel Hackett has been let go, and now they're trying to figure out what the next steps are. Obviously, they say they still believe in Russell Wilson. Well, you're not going to take an $82 million cap hit, so you better believe it. You better speak some life into the situation. Well, this is what Shannon Sharp had to say about some other suggestions for the Broncos surrounding Russell Wilson yesterday.
I don't know who the head coach is going to be. The first thing you do, Russell Wilson, I'm locking this office. You will no longer have an office. All those parking spaces that you get at the stadium, they're gone too, because you're putting yourself in front of the team. And I said it before, and I'll say it again, and I'll stand by it. You ticked a lot of people off with your attitude, bro. Now, you can come out here and talk about we're a team, and I'm good with my teammates, but deep down inside, they seething, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Now, this is getting circulated a little more. Now, Shannon has plenty of connections in the Broncos organization, obviously. So I believe Shannon. But Andrew Whitworth, Big Whit, responded to this on Twitter and said, I've been told this consistently over the last 6 months. I refuse to believe it. No way this realist can't be real, right? Now we're getting other former players responding and saying, yeah, it is actually real. Now, to me, what makes me curious about this, because we both like Russell Wilson, the guy, and often, when we're talking about, almost always when we're talking about players, we're not talking about them personally. But I'll say I like Russell Wilson, the guy. I think I like what he stands for. He seems like a family guy. He's a nice guy. Great. Met Russ. He's very pleasant. But we've heard this from several organizations now, and this is like a little thing, a little smoke. Nothing is everything. Everything is something, And they're losing, so now all the stuff that's irritating people is going to come out more. You don't mind when the quarterback gets extra special treatment when you're winning, because who cares? We're winning. It doesn't matter. Do whatever you want. Everything is fine when you're winning. When you're losing, nothing is fine. And I just find this curious with Russ, because we have seen a lot of this on the sidelines. We've seen a lot of arguments, even outside of Russ. Like, everything was falling apart with Denver. I know I'm springing this on you because you're just hearing this for the first time, but you're a professional. You're good at this stuff. What do you think when you hear that?
It is not practical. Like, I love what Shannon is saying in theory. In theory, make him like everybody else, take away his parking space, lock his office. I don't know if Shannon's speaking literally or figuratively, obviously.
Right.
I don't know if Russ actually has an office. For context, listeners or viewers at home, everybody has an unofficial parking space. So you can't really take away something that's unofficial as is. Here on the Fox lot, I pull in, I go down to P2. Skip has his unofficial parking space. Everybody has their unofficial parking space.
I don't have an unofficial parking space. We're working on that, but sure. There's levels to the parking spaces.
You can't take that away from them, because quarterbacks are always going to be special. The problem is you got to play special. Like Russell Wilson, he's a quarterback. He's not going to get hit in practice. Special.
Sure.
He doesn't have to go through conditioning like everybody else. Special. Quarterbacks are always going to be treated special. Really, what I think about when I hear that is it has to start with Russ. The change has to start with Russ. I don't have an issue as much, Joy, with the parking space. What I have an issue with, and I've said this before, and y'all consider me a joke if you will, when Russ left practice during OTAs or whatever, and he flies across the country to watch Serena's last match, and he's in the box in the matching outfit with Sierra, and he's wearing the sunglasses, even though the match started at 7 p.m. EST, and everybody watching you acting too cool for school. Meanwhile, they're just now leaving the facility, or they're all at team dinner, or they're all going bowling, or they're all going to the Jazz game, or whatever the case may be, or they're all doing something collectively as a unit, and they watching you by yourself, stunting, and where's the camaraderie?
Right.
I mean, we talked about this on Speak. We all hung out 2 nights ago, maybe it was. All broke bread, all went to a bar, Alex, after the show, ha-ha and kiki laughing. There is camaraderie there. If everybody would have been at the bar and Joy, you would have been at the red carpet premiere of Babylon or Avatar or whatever the case may be, we'd feel some type of way.
Sure.
And so that, to me, is the biggest difference. You take away his parking spot. I don't think it's actually practical. Lock his office. I don't think it's practical. But Russ has to make a conscious decision to be more inclusive as opposed to exclusive, or at least don't be so public with it.
Yeah, I think it's self-awareness is what I like to say. You know, I don't like humble, but self-awareness I think is very important, especially like you said, when you're losing and you're the one who's not playing well.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.